Welcome to What the Rust. Today's video is a little bit different. We are going to take this auction find GEO Metro and transform it into a very cool car. Come on along for the ride. This is going to be fun. Now, just how did I come across such an odd car for the channel? Well, if you head on over to our second channel, More What the Rust, you'll see that I participated in an auction and I won this car. I basically raised my hand at an opportune time, had one bid in mind and one bid only, and it turned out it was the final bid. It's a fun little video, check it out, but that's how we ended up with this. What are we gonna do with it? I'm not completely sure. We're going to look at the comments on the other channel from the auction video, and we're going to just take it as it comes. One thing we're not gonna do is butcher it. We're not going to take the doors off and make it an off-road car. We're not going to cut the body up, destroy it. We're just not going to do that. This is a running, driving car. And for someone that's looking for a car, particularly a 50+ mile per gallon car, this is going to be good for them. So I want to rehab it into something that's usable and that someone can be proud of. When I won the auction on this car, I drove it home and I never even checked the oil. So it's about time that I did that. It's full. There's no full mark on the stick, but there's 2 dots. And it's full, and it's not that dirty. It's not new, but it's not that dirty. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. The oil in my truck is probably dirtier than this. The coolant's green and it's very clear. I can see right into the radiator and it looks real good. So the next step, let's see what it looks like inside the valve cover. I'm going to bring you in here to take a look at this. I think you can see that. It's super clean. Yeah, there you go. There's a really nice shot. That's the camshaft right there. This is called an overhead cam engine. So the cam is up high in the block and actually sits on top of it. And that cam looks really good. So that's great news. And look at that. That's super clean as well. I gotta believe this engine was maintained. It certainly seems it to me. I guess to get to 260,000 miles, you have to be maintained. I think next step is, let's check the air filter element. That'll tell us a lot as well. You can see that this car's been sitting a while. It's got cobwebs and stuff in the engine compartment. The owner passed away in September. And as I'm filming this now, it's April, almost May. So it's been sitting a little bit of time. I don't know at what point he stopped driving it. Now, this is really interesting. Look at the air filter element. It's this circular deal. And this one is dirty. There's the throttle body injection right there. But this air filter is very dirty. So that is likely going to get changed. I mean, it's functional, but it's dirty. Let's check inside of here. That all looks good. So far that air filter is the only thing I found that isn't maintained. This timing belt here looks to be in really good shape. So I'm happy about that. It doesn't appear to have any bad oil leaks. You know, maybe small stuff, but nothing bad. Nothing concerning anyway. Look at the size of this engine. It is so tiny. The block is approximately 15 inches maybe even less because the distributor's there, so more like 13 inches. I mean, think about that. A cylinder block that's 13 inches wide, maybe 15 at the most. Unbelievable. And of course it's 3 cylinders, inline 3. I'm gonna have to think of a catchy name for inline 3. I checked the brake fluid, it's completely fine. Look at that tiny, tiny power booster. Everything on this car is miniature. So that's a quick overview of the engine. I wonder if the gearbox has a dipstick. I don't think so. So I'm gonna have to check that, but may have to do that from underneath. Here's the clutch cable coming in. And there's the clutch linkage right there. It's also very, very simple. It's time to take a closer look at this thing. I've shown you the engine already, but let's take a look at the car itself. It's got paint issues, clear coat is gone. There's no shine of this paint. It's very, very dirty. It's got excellent tires on it. I believe that these are not your basic Walmart tires. Could be wrong about that. And they're only 3 years old. I think this door and this fender will shine with a little attention. Again, we've got more clear coat coming off. The roof is super dirty. We've got rust along the trim, and the trim only. Very, very weird, right? The trim rusted up. It must have trapped water, but the rest of the body is pretty good. So we're going to address that. For some reason, it's got a light blue hatch. Don't know why. It's straight in the back. It's not straight on the side. It's got a dent here that someone pulled out. Rudimentary body job to pull that out. Little crack in the bumper cover. Crack here. The bumper cover is a little bit loose. Got some moss or lichen growing on the side here. And more rust from the trim, which is going to be easy to fix, frankly. Let's take a look inside. It's a Tennessee car, so there's no structural rust to speak of. Here, the bottom of the doors, amazing condition. Door panels intact, but super, super dirty. I mean, it's gross. This whole interior is gross. There's like coffee stains and all kinds of other stuff. This car had more than one passenger in it, a lot. The floor on the passenger side is worn out. So this thing was not used as a one-person commuter car. The seat is ripped here. Not badly so. Maybe that could be fixed. This car, the radio works. It's a 5-speed stick. The e-brake works. Clutch works. Wipers work. This is interesting here. I don't know what's going on there. That's all broken up. It's just filthy. This steering wheel is the worst part of the car. It is terrible. I don't know how much of that is dirt and how much of that is wear, but it's terrible. You've got years of registrations here on both on the seat and in the glove box. I haven't been through this yet, but bottle of aspirin, prescription, some glasses. Oh, what's this? This is a part. Let's see what this is. Oh, rotor. Okay. Wonder if that's for this car. I would assume that it is. And nothing else real notable in there. In the back seat, let's see what we got going on here. I haven't looked at this yet either. We got a piece of door sill trim, that's good. A pair of boots. Looks like some empty Gatorade. Yep, Gatorade containers. Oh, this bag is just disintegrated. Makes me think this car might have been sitting more than 6 or 7 months. I don't know what this is all about. Around the seat belt is tape and a piece of paper. I don't know what that's for. The seats fold back in this thing. Fold forward so it can be a flat surface. The headliner is in good shape. And it looks like these windows are pop-out windows. They don't roll up and down, they pop out. It's got potential as a nice kids first car or a commuter car. The car runs good. Can't complain about that. Engine's quiet. It's running smooth for a 3-cylinder. No smoke. And it's a little bit louder than I would think. And I think maybe somebody's got a performance muffler on it. Listen to that 3-cylinder. It's a pretty unique sound. First step I'm going to do today is vacuum it out. Then I'm going to power wash it. You know, the Hot Rod Power Tour is coming up. So I mentioned to Christina, maybe we can fix this up and take it on the Power Tour. After all, it has air conditioning. And she gave me the most horrified look I've seen in a while. So I guess that idea is off the chart. This is what we're supposed to be taking on Power Tour. And this also has air conditioning. But this truck is giving me so much trouble lately. It's just crazy. Everything, the transfer case, and just everything. The latest problem is the person that put the transfer case in it used standard thread bolts to bolt it to the Turbo 700, which is a metric case, and they're all stripped out, and the bolts are actually falling out of the back of the transmission. So I've ordered some new longer metric thread bolts, and I'm going to try to fix it, but time is getting short for the Power Tour. And I just don't know if we're going to be able to take this. It's just been one hassle after another. Finding stuff in these cars is always fun. The first thing I found right in this map pocket, 2 made in USA hose clamps. If you've used the ones that are for sale today, you know how valuable these made in USA ones are, because the new ones are complete crap. Hopefully we find some other cool stuff in here. Another tool I found is this adjustable wrench, Diamond brand. I don't know if that's good or not, but it's got a couple of warnings on it. That one is no hammering, and on the other side it says no extensions. So I guess they didn't have a lot of faith in the strength of this tool. It's rusted up, but this will no doubt free up. Also found a tape measure, and it works. This one, see the rust here? This one's actually stuck to the floor. This was in the back seat here for a very long time. In addition to what else I already showed you is in the glove box, there is strawberry jam, old AC connection. Oh wow, look at those little tiny tapes. Huh. Wow. What is that? Rouse her animal passions. Oh, okay. I know what that is. Oh, there's one of the AC things. Cool. Cool. Hold on to that. Here's the other one. I'll put those back in the package. broken rotor, and some straws. That's about it, and more vehicle registrations. Last but not least is a Starbucks receipt from 2010 for 2 chocolate chunk cookies and a latte. Back then, that cost, near as I can tell, $5.88. You just never know what you're going to find in these cars. It looks like an air compressor, a couple of lug wrenches, some oil, conventional, not synthetic, pair of pliers, some tools. I got to hold this hatch up. So let's see what else is in here. Oh, that's this 1/2-inch ratchet. What brand is that? Task Force. Made in Taiwan. Pretty rusty. Send that over to my brother's channel at Florida Rustic Repairs for him to restore it. Well, that's it for the treasures. The air pump, a few lug wrenches, a 4-way that doesn't fit this car, the bumper jack to the car, some really nice boots. I'm going to donate those. They're too small for me, but they're really nice boots. And some oil and some assorted other stuff. So not a bad haul for such a small car. I've discovered the first rust on this thing other than around the trim, and that's the spare tire mount in the floor. I guess water collected there, probably leaked through the hatch. Water collected there and rusted out the spare tire holder. That's not that big of a deal because the tire just lays in here. But it is interesting that happened. This must have been wet at one time because there is evidence of other rust in here. Not rusted through, but rusty. Spare tire. Unbelievably small. Look at the size on that. T105 8013. Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, so Richard, we're gonna wash the car, or you're gonna wash it.
Yep.
And then what else are you gonna do to it?
Well, I'm going to rust encapsulate all the rust, paint the wheel, and then I've got coming an awesome racing stripe. It's gonna look great on this thing.
So you're gonna put racing stripe on that?
After I cut the paint and polish it. And it's a small car, so this won't take me that long.
Okay. Well, let's get started.
Yeah.
It wasn't the kind of dirty that we're used to, you know, where you can't see through the windows and it's covered in mud. It was more or less like a really dirty car, you know, a regular car.
It was dirty. I mean, I had to get close, but I used the mildest nozzle. I used the white nozzle, but I had to get close.
Yeah. So now that I've actually stood, you know, back and taken a look at it, so I think this piece was off of another car.
Yeah. I think that's a given at this point.
Yeah, I hadn't really noticed it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's from an XFI, and I don't believe this one's an XFI.
Really?
Yeah, the XFI has a different camshaft, and I don't know that this one is.
Oh, yeah, so well, that's deceiving, isn't it? Now you're going to do the buffing or the...
We'll let it dry, and then I'll cut it.
Okay.
And once it's cut, then I'll wax it, and that'll be it for the finish.
It's going to be your masterpiece?
Masterpiece.
Okay.
So I was looking at the distributor cap, and I thought, oh crap, a wire's missing. How is it running so good? And I realized this is a 3-cylinder, and it's using a 4-cylinder distributor cap.
Off.
So they just plugged it off.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. Better than trying to make a totally new cap, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny, though.
It is. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So this piece of trim here was inside, and connects with some weird plastic clips. Well, guess what? I have a few of these plastic clips left over from my 2015 Mustang. They held one of the plastic things underneath in place. And these appear to work just fine for this car. So that's a pretty useless bit of info, but if you need it, these clips seem to be fairly universal. Look at how nice they fit. So I'll get these first two in, and this will be done. Look at how nice that came out. Awesome. We just added 25 cents to the value of this thing right there. This center console is so bad. Look at that. It's just disgusting. But look at what I did in here. This was just as bad, if not worse. And I'm just using some glass cleaner. And it's cleaning it up. So I'm going to try it here as well. See if we can get this sticky, whatever you call it, off. The shift area is done. And I'm pretty excited. If the entire interior comes out as good as the shift area, this is going to look awesome. Of course, there's that to deal with. And some pretty heavy staining over here. But let's see what happens.
So Richard said the steering wheel was so bad, I needed to see it. Okay, I can see it. What's so bad about it?
Look at this.
Uh-huh.
It is gross. I think that's dirt.
Okay.
Years of sweat and dirt.
We've seen so much worse than this. I'm not but do you know what the problem is? I normally clean it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. But look at it. It's coming. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
This is all done here. Looks pretty cool. Radio's done. Carpets are done.
You know what you need to get is the air vents. I can see so much dust from here.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I think I'm going to do the top of the dash next and then the steering wheel. Oh, look at this thing. This visor is gross. I mean, I don't think that's cleanable.
Do you know what that's from?
What?
It's from a mechanic.
Yeah, dirty hands.
Uh-huh. Why are you so shocked by that?
I'm not shocked by it.
I just find it kind of funny.
Oops. I shouldn't have done that.
What did you... Oh, no.
I don't know. I think that was the head. What's holding the headliner up.
Oh, I think you're right. You know, we need a hot glue gun.
Yeah.
That fixed everything.
Yep.
So I gave Richard some advice on the steering wheel. That side is already clean.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so you know what it is. It's just a tub of towels, which I've used those several times in videos. And yeah, do you see it? You just have to, you know, spend a little time going over and over it. But guess what? It'll come clean. It'll all come off.
So this is, I thought this might be degraded plastic. It's actually just all dirt.
Yeah, from being a mechanic, and he just had dirty hands.
Years and years of dirt.
Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, it works. It covers up the dirt, right?
I think it looks great.
So you just cut them in half?
That's the first high performance upgrade to this car. Now that is about 4 horsepower.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think
By the time
so.
we're done, we'll probably have 15, 20 horsepower on this thing.
I don't think so. Are you going to put the other ones in the back?
That's all I got.
Oh, it was just one?
Yeah, those are the back seat ones. For the
Oh,
original set
you know,
that
I thought
bought.
you had 2 and you were going to cut it and have a total of 4.
No.
Oh, okay. Hey, it's something.
Yep.
And it is. Look at that blue right there. See? It's not bad.
Christina bought me this awesome cordless buffer, and the first time I'm going to use it is on the roof of the GEO. I have to be super careful here because the paint's really thin, as you can see there. I don't want to burn right through it. But I am going to use a cutter on it. I'm going to start with a real mild cutter first and see how that does before I go to something a little more aggressive, because there's just not much paint left on this car. The first thing you have to do is make sure the surface is clean. Even though I washed it yesterday, it still gets dust on it. So I use this glass cleaner, and I noticed, I don't know if you can see that the paint's coming off just with glass cleaner. So this will be an interesting experiment to see how well I can get this paint cut without removing it altogether. You don't need a lot of material on the pad. I'm going to swirl it around in the paint just a little bit to get it spread out. And then I'm just going to go in straight lines this way on this half of the hood. And we'll see how it comes out. That looks pretty good. You can see it took some paint off, but not too much. So I think using this mild stuff is good. Now I'm going to just wipe off the excess and see what it looks like. It looks a lot better already. There's some inconsistency. This is literally my first time using this buffer. But look at the difference here. That's a really good shot of the before and after. And once I'm fully done with this, then I'm going to hit it with some wax to protect it. You can't leave it like this. The paint is kind of stripped bare by the cutter. So it needs to be waxed over. So I'm going to do the rest of this top and I'll get back to you. So I've done another round on the roof, and what I did this time was I went this way. So that crosshatch pattern should eliminate any streaks or misses that I have. You can see still some paint coming off. That's expected, but it's not too bad. I'm going to wipe the excess off and see what it looks like before I wax it. It looks a lot better. I mean, look at that. But you can see how thin the paint is here. I can't take any more off. That's the actual primer showing through. So I can't take any more off of there. But it looks way better. And it's mostly smoothed out as well as far as gaps go. You can see, I'm gonna do this by hand around here, around the antenna, and you can see the difference in the finish. Because you don't want to try to get the buffer into small spaces like that. It'll burn the paint. One other thing too, when I'm using this buffer, I'm not putting any pressure on it. I'm just holding it, right? I've got a hand here to hold it, and then this hand to steady it. I'm not pushing down at all. You don't need to. You just let it drag across the surface itself, and it will take care of it. The sides of this are going to be way easier than the roof and the hood, because the sides don't see quite as much sunlight as the roof and the hood. So I think we've gotten through the worst of it here. So I've got the roof waxed up. I put a little extra on so you could see the difference between this and the cutting compound. This actually dries to a haze, and that's how it's supposed to work. Yes, there's too much on here, but I wanted the camera to show that once this is completely dry, it'll be a haze. And the way you tell if it's time to take it off, you just take your finger and hit it like that. And if it completely clears the area right here, then you're good, you can take it off. That did not, it left a little wax on, so I'm gonna wait for this, and it's cooling off a bit. So it's going to take a few minutes, but that's no problem. But this should be the last step for the roof. The roof has now been cut. This wax will protect it, and I'm hoping it looks pretty good. Then I'm going to move on to the rest of the car, but there's some rust repair I want to do first. One other thing about doing this work on paint, do not do it in the sunlight. Do not do it when it's super hot. These chemicals you're using don't work well when the metal surface is really hot. That's why I pulled this in the garage. The light's better outside, but I don't want the sun hitting it. The roof is done, and I want to show you how it came out. Not perfect, but I'm happy with it. You can see now it's got some shine to it. The bare spots, they didn't burn through like I was worried about. Luckily, they're certainly thinner, but they're not burnt through. So it looks pretty good. By no means is it a show finish. I didn't expect that. I'm not even sure that this roof isn't spray painted. It looks suspiciously like it is, and the way it was coming off so easily, it seems like it is. But that's how it looks. I've started now getting rid of the rust on the hatch. The hatch is going to be painted. But I'm happy with it. Now on to the rest of the rust repair. There's a little stuff here. I need to look at that. What happened there? I think I might not have gotten all the wax off of that. But overall, I'm pleased. The worst part of the car for rust is right here under these windows. And what happened was there's this trim, this coating that obviously covered this up, and water got trapped under it over time, and it lifted the coating off and caused rust. So what I'm gonna do is just get the coating off of here, but I'm not gonna pull it out because it also looks like it's got some kind of anti-squeak function between the body panels. So I'm just gonna break it off flush with the body panel. And then I'm going to coat all this with rust encapsulator. Yeah, just like that. Just snap it right off. And when that's done with rust encapsulator, it's gonna look really good. It'll trap it, it'll turn it black, and then I can top coat it. I'm probably gonna top coat it in black, but not 100% sure yet. This morning, I'm gonna tackle the hood. The hood is got more paint on it than the roof, so I'm going to use a stronger cutting compound on it. Hopefully that's not a mistake, but if it cuts too much, I'll stop. But the reason I want to use a stronger cutting compound is I've got this clear coat here to deal with. Clear coat here, no clear coat there, and I need to get this kind of off. But you can see the nose is a mess. All these rock chips and scratches. And look at all of them over here. It's indicative of a car with 260,000 miles. But I'm gonna try to get it as nice as I can.
Yeah, so you know where I saw this at?
Where?
Chris Fix.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I like to watch his stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot smoother than it was. I'm using 800. I'm not pressing very hard either.
You might need to go higher than 800.
Maybe, but it's taking it off. I
I mean,
try
lower,
4.
lower, not higher. Yeah.
Yeah, I could try 4. But I want to try it and then rinse it and just see what happens.
Well, I can see the water on there turning blue. So
Oh, it's taking it off.
Yeah. It's just, is it going to take that coating off enough so you can blend it in?
I mean, if this works out really well, we might want to 800 the whole hood.
I was thinking the whole car,
You
but
can't do the roof, the paint's too thin.
Yep, but the sides, because you got that same issue on the sides.
Okay, let's wipe that. Wax on it. And Christina did this side much better than I did that side. I used way too much. But look at this. This is really nice. This is better than the roof. Look at that. I'm pretty excited about that. Doesn't have a lot of shine to it. There's no clear coat. And like I've said already a bunch of times, I have the sneaky suspicion this is spray paint. And if it is, it's not gonna shine too well.
Look how much the hood goes in when you barely push on it.
Yeah, I mean, you could hear it when I was using the machine, the noise it made, because the metal on this is so thin.
It's held up well for 40 years, though.
Exactly. How can you argue with it? How's it looking?
Better?
I think it looks good, except for here where I used the 800. So what I'm gonna do there, I went from 800 to wax. I'm gonna actually hit it with some cutting compound and then go back to wax. And I bet it's gonna look better if I do that. So using the cutting compound, I immediately started to burn through the paint right there. Right here is from the 800, but right here is from the cutting compound. So I stopped immediately. This is as good as it's gonna get. I don't wanna take any more paint off. But overall, looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you want to do with this car, so I don't know that you need to be so serious about what we're doing to it, because you were thinking about finding some jumps or something, right?
Or the power tour.
No, it's not. No.
It's got AC.
No.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Okay, before I do the sides, I'm going to do the rust encapsulator. So that's up next.
Okay, upon further inspection, do you see all this light blue right here? And look underneath. Would that have been something the factory did? Because, well, no, that's on top. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, we're gonna pop the hood and see what color it is under here. Yeah, I saw it briefly, but I don't remember. You've been under here much more than I have.
Well, I know the core support's light blue.
Well,
That's light blue.
there it is. It's, you can, when I go in close, you can see it. It's just dirty.
Yeah, that's light blue. Same color as the core support. So look at the firewall.
Yeah.
So this car was light blue. The rust around the windows and such has been sanded, so I'm going to hit it with rust encapsulator. I'm not sponsored by these guys, but this is really good stuff. But it's super important never to mix this, what you're doing, with the can. Anytime you use it, pour some in a container and use that.
So, you couldn't see the name of it, so do you want to show them what the name is? Definitely not, they're not paying us because we didn't show the can the right way.
But it's good stuff. I mean, if I believe in stuff, I'm going to tell you about it, sponsored or not.
Yeah,
I've been
Eastwood's
using
really
this
good.
stuff for years. They now have new versions of it that are even more expensive, so I'm sticking with the old version because it works for me. So I don't need the latest gen. But let's see how this works. Let's try it here in the sunlight, easy to see. I've got this rust sanded down. Doesn't have to be bare metal. In fact, you don't want it bare metal. I've got an artist brush. Just gonna brush it on. This stuff, as you can see, it's super thin. You might think it'd be this gooey mix. It's not. It's super thin. It's like thinned paint. And all you do is exactly what I'm doing. You don't have to sand it ahead of time, but in this case, the surface area is so small and it's going to look a lot better because it's smooth underneath.
You know, I wonder if you could put that on with a sponge.
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Wear gloves. This stuff is hard to get off if it gets on you. But
I have little yellow sponges for car work. I might go get one. You can try it on the other side and see what happens.
I'm kind of liking the artist brush.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's given me a lot of control with no mess. And that's how you apply it. And it's meant to be top coated. It's not UV resistant stuff, so it will be top coated, which I will do as well. Once this dries fully, I'm going to use the artist brush again, and I'm going to just hit it with satin black. One last wipe down.
Okay, so you want to salvage the XFI part.
Yeah.
So we're going to cover it up with tape.
I think that was a dumb idea in the end. It's going to be hard to do. It's very small, very precise. Okay, sun went in. Let's do this.
Sun's back out.
Yep. I've got these cans left over from my F-150. This is the one I use. This is the one I bought that wasn't close enough, but I kept. One of these got to match this, at least close, and we're thinking it's this one. So we're going to try this one first. These are both Ford colors from the late 80s. That's pretty close compared to this one.
Oh, yeah.
Geez, that one seems black.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how dark of a blue it is. Okay, so this one wins. I think for a hatch, it's going to be fine.
I think for this hatch, it's going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, the can does not like to be tipped.
Okay, so I think it's definitely going to be darker. But
It looks pretty good.
yeah, I mean, but you know, for just a can of paint you had and you didn't go buy anything.
Yep.
Stand back here where I'm at.
Yeah, we got to get 20 feet away. It's a 20-footer. Yeah, it's way darker.
Let's do 20 feet, huh?
Way darker.
Actually, I think it looks worse at 20 feet.
Huh?
That's more noticeable at 20 feet.
Well, it is what it is.
Oh,
But
wait.
when you're in traffic, people are only going to see that. I'm really curious to see how the clear-coated paint is going to turn out when it's cut. This turned out okay, but there's no clear coat on it, so it doesn't look all that great. Better, a lot better, but not all that great. So I'm curious about this. I have to be a little careful here because there's a lot of curves. But this pad is very soft, so I don't think I'm in danger of burning anything out. That's more like it. Wow, what a difference. Let me see if you can see this. It's a huge difference. Here's the hood after buffing and waxing. And look at the fender. Wow. What a difference. Now if we go to the door, which I haven't done yet, you can see the door is, this is just from me, but the door is not nearly as nice looking as the fender. This is gonna come out really good. So I'm encouraged by that. I'm gonna have to do some of this cutting by hand, like down here and such. This car is just too small and too many curves to do it all with the buffer. But I'm excited, this looks good. Next up is this crazy front wheel that I thought was silver poking through, and it's actually white. For some weird reason, this wheel was white. Maybe they came that way and all the others have been painted black? Maybe not, but we got to fix that. It's bright sunshine this morning, so you can now see how the fender came out after the buffing and the waxing, and it looks pretty good compared to the door. I don't know if you can see the difference there or not, but there's quite a bit of difference between the two. Whenever you own a car like this, one thing you must get used to is envy from other drivers, wishing that they drove something as cool as you. One of the ways to feed that jealousy is with high performance brakes. So I have installed, via Tractor Supply tractor paint, high performance red brake calipers. Now you know, of course, that red brake calipers have superior braking performance to bare metal or to black. And these will undoubtedly put you in a different class of drivers. Note also, the most recognized name in high performance brakes has been used on this car. One other quote-unquote upgrade I'm doing is the lug nuts. You see how those chrome lug nuts look there compared to the back? Those are the exact same lug nuts. Someone just spray painted them. So all I'm doing is I'm taking them off and I'm dropping them in this little cup of acetone, and then just rub the paint off and put them back on, and poof, we have chrome lug nuts. Oh, and the tires, man. So I checked the tires. We had one at 11, the other 3 at 16. Have no idea why they were so low, but they're all up now. So I think this is gonna ride a lot better, and it gave it even more ground clearance. Look at the ground clearance this car has. It's crazy for a little car like this. Really crazy, but I don't mind that at all. Morning. Today should be the last day of work on this baby. We have to paint the rust encapsulator, apply the decals, clean it up, and take it for a test drive. So that should be super fun when we get to that point. Let's see how it goes. As you can imagine, painting the rust encapsulator is pretty simple. All you do, I have a little can of Rust-Oleum. This is satin black and an artist brush, and you just brush it on, taking care not to hit the paint. The reason we're doing this is the rust encapsulator really isn't meant to be a top coat. It's not UV resistant, so it should be painted over. I'll get back to you when I'm finished. The passenger door is particularly bad. You see those scratches there? This one's probably through the clear coat, but these are not. I might be able to get those out. There's also quite a bit of hazing above the handle. And this rear quarter must have been in the sun because it's terrible. It's even a different color. See that? You can see it's a noticeably different color. Hopefully that doesn't mean that this door's been spray painted like the roof and the hood. But we'll find out in a minute, so I'm about to hit it with the buffer. Buffed out decent. I was not able to get these scratches out, even by hand. But you can see the shine. You can see me in the camera lens. You can see the camera stand in the door. None of that was possible before. There's a little burn through right here. I don't know if I did that or that was there. But when you're using a buffer, excuse me, always be careful of corners, edges. Sometimes it's just better to do those by hand. But overall, this looks way, way better than it did. There are some parts of this side that I'm going to do by hand. I'm not going to use the machine over this. And back here, it's too stained. I don't want to get the pad full of whatever that is that the power washer didn't take off. So I'm going to do those by hand. But that's fine. That won't take any time. This car is so small and the front fender's already done.
Gonna head out and check on Richard. See what he's been up to. So, what were you working on?
I'm hot gluing the car back together.
That's great.
Every panel that's loose, like that was loose, that was loose. This is broken in the front, is getting hot glued. So it'll be much less rattly.
Do you have a minute?
Yeah.
Can you open up the box and show them the cool thing you got to go on the car?
It's right there.
Oh, you already have it out?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Is it upside down?
Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like.
Okay.
So these here, come over this side. These are the side stripes. That's one side, that's one side, and there's one in the middle I wasn't aware of. Mm-hmm. They're very hard to see like this.
I can see them.
Yeah.
3 white stripes?
Yeah, 4.
4, okay.
Yeah. And then this.
I was wondering why all this was out. Sitting on top of this.
Is for the hood.
Now that one I can't make out.
There's a stripe here and a wide stripe there.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
that's for the hood.
I see it now. Okay.
That's for the hood.
And you're going to do that so that it looks...
So it gives it the performance look it ought to have. Having a 61 cubic inch engine, I mean, where are the mag wheels? Where are the racing stripes?
I had mentioned to you, because we were actually watching videos, there's a huge following for this car.
Oh, yeah.
And people would take them and do jumps with them and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yep.
So I had mentioned to you that this could possibly be something that you could do to use on stuff. What's it called? Hoopty X?
Hoopty cross.
Hoopty cross. Yeah, because
It's like an off-road race, but it's not like you're slamming into cars. It's one car at a time, but it's off-road and it's a timed course. And I've always wanted to do it.
I know you have. You talked about it for years. Oh, I mean, you only paid $600. It's running. It's in good shape. You're sporting it up.
It's almost too nice, though.
Well, if we go out and we find a no car, probably the amount of money it's going to cost to get it ready. I don't know. But let the viewers say. I think you're afraid because it's not so old.
Yeah, let's let the viewers weigh in. But I'm also thinking I'd rather have rear-wheel drive. This course is a lot of left and right turns in the dirt. Front drive's kind of lame for that. I'm thinking that 49.
Do you know how much that would cost?
Well, not if we already have an engine.
No. Yeah, you need other things too.
Racing
Brakes.
Yeah.
Let me just, you're already thinking about it. You're like, oh yeah, it's going to be way more. Yeah, that would be way more than $600.
It would. It would, but it would be more fun. I don't know. I'm pipe dreaming right now, but this could be a very valid car for that type of racing.
Yeah, and don't forget, we're retired now, so we have to watch our pennies.
I know.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't ruin it, right? We're not talking about doing 3-foot jumps with this thing.
Although people were doing that online.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It would still be a car I drove to and from the track, which is 3 hours away.
Oh, well, you could definitely do that with this car.
Oh, yeah.
And it would cost like $4.
Yeah. Yep.
So that, yeah, I didn't even think about the gas.
Yep. We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
We got time.
it's gonna be fun to see what it looks like with the stripes on.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. I just need to let those sit out. They were rolled up in a ball. This is how they came. All these stripes came in a box of this size.
Yeah.
For one day, build cool cars with 3 O's.
Oh my goodness.
Because this is one sheet for both sides, the first thing I have to do is cut it right down the center, which will not affect the final product as long as I keep the line relatively straight. Maybe I'll put a stripe on the 52 and see Christina's reaction. So I've got some scissors. I'm going to start cutting. The way this works is you lay it down just like this, and you tape it up where you want it, and then you peel back this paper backing and stick the whole thing in place, and then you peel back this clear plastic backing, and you can see underneath it, that's the stripe. I have not done this before. This is going to be an interesting exercise for sure. I'm going to start with the passenger side. It's a little easier because it doesn't have these dents in it. But I'm excited. I think this is going to look neat. Okay, that's part one. And what part one is, I've got the paper backing off. You can see where I cut the edge. That's the sticker I did not use, and the paper backing. So the paper backing's off, but the clear covering is not. I've got a few air bubbles to get out, but not bad. And miraculously, it's straight. Miraculously. I was more concerned about it being straight than air bubbles, and I don't know if that's the right mentality or not. So I've got some air bubbles to deal with. Probably the worst one is right here. So I need to deal with that. I've got my squeegee, but so far it's not helping. It's a big air bubble and it's right in the middle. But we'll see. I'm gonna keep pressing this a few more minutes before I take it off. Take the clear plastic off. Okay, I've got the plastic off of the slashes, and they look real good. Small air bubble there that I can push right out. These slashes were a nightmare, because they kept sticking to the backing, this stuff. So I had to, like, individually, each one, keep it from peeling back. Once I got to the solid piece, it didn't do that anymore. But keep in mind, if you're gonna go with a sticker that has multiple pieces, it's a nightmare to keep it off of the paper. Now I'm going to move on to the larger piece. I'm gonna put this one on camera so you can all see how it goes. There's gonna be some issues for sure, particularly right here. I have not been able to get this air bubble out, and it's nasty. It is nasty. So I'm peeling the plastic paper back real slowly, and it's leaving the stripe behind it. And whenever I see an air bubble, I'm just pushing it out. The air bubbles in the slashes, like I said, they're easy. The ones in the stripe, especially the large part of the stripe, not so much. But this is all good here. Nothing concerning. Some air bubbles here. Try to push them up and down. It's a real nice piece right here. No air bubbles at all. You know, the YouTube instructions say to use tape to hold it up. I didn't find that very useful. The masking tape just got in the way and made it a hassle, and it's no coincidence that I have a huge air bubble right where I had a piece of masking tape. I understand the need to hold it in place, but there's got to be a better way. This air bubble is not going to come out, so I'm going to try poking it with a pin. Probably not supposed to do that, but I don't know any other way to get that out. Another small air bubble there, just push it up. Push this one down. It's the ones in the center that are the real bear to get out. It's funny because my biggest fear was being straight, and that's not a problem. It's laser straight. Okay. So that's it. That's how you do it. I've got a little work to do with bubbles, but most of them, 90% or more, are coming out. There's a big one here and one there that I need to take care of. Right? This one right there and one next to it. Pretty nasty. But for the most part, the rest of this looks real good. Standing back and looking at it, looks pretty sweet. Especially the slashes, but man, those slashes were a nightmare, like I said. But they do look good. Okay, I've got some work to do with air bubbles. I'll get back to you. You know, I read a lot of instructions on how to do this, and some people said put water on the surface underneath the sticker itself, and some said do not do that. So I found the passenger side went fine without water. Maybe it would have helped a little with the air bubbling, I don't know, but I'm going to do the driver's side the same way I did the passenger side. All right, a couple of lessons learned if you're going to do something like this. What I wanted to do was wrap my sticker around the edges here, which worked out really well, but make sure it's super clean. So I need to make sure that this edge, this edge, this edge, and the front edges are very clean. So I'm going to do that. This side, again, is going to be tricky because of the dent, but I think I went 2 inches below here and 2 inches above here, so I may be okay there. It's just going to really kind of mess it up. I think maybe for this one, I'll start from the front. It'll probably make it a little bit easier. I'm a little uneasy about that, but this is going to be tough to start there. What else? Tape the very beginning to get it straight, and then just use a tape measure the whole way and go against a known object. I went against that. And with a long stripe like this, once you get it the first 6 inches or so, it wants to be straight. So it'll start to crinkle if it's not straight. Hood stripe is on. Christina helped me with this one just to make sure it was straight. It's good. It's got a bubble up here. Hopefully that will come out. I'm going to park it in the sun and see. And a small crease at the bottom. I don't know how that crease happened, but I will say this. The material itself has so many creases in it. See this? It's loaded with creases. This is material I didn't use. So if you can imagine trying to smooth air bubbles out of that as you apply it, it's pretty tough. And I laid this out flat for over 24 hours to try to get these creases out, and it just wasn't happening. It makes it really difficult. I'm not sure I'd recommend this stripe kit to people. I mean, it's okay for a beater like this, but if this was a nice car, no way, no way. The quality just isn't there. But I'm happy with it. It looks cool. And I'm really happy with how this side came out. Really came out nice. I'm loving it. So now I'm going to park it in the sun. Hopefully some of these air bubbles will work themselves out. Hopefully, that's what the YouTube guy I watch says. I'm almost done with this thing. It needs a good washing, and I'm almost done. One more thing about the kit for the stripes. I don't want to bash them too badly. It was $16 delivered to my door for both the hood and the side stripes. So you get what you pay for. And if you have a nice car, you're probably not going to get a $16 kit. But for me, it worked just fine. Oh, I didn't show you this. The part over the dent worked out really well. It was difficult to do, but it worked out really well. Out in the sun, the stripes really pop, especially the sides where there's more gloss paint around it. So that's pretty cool. It accomplished what I wanted.
So Richard, are you prepping to repaint your sports car again?
Yes, the unmatching hatch was more than I could bear. Mm-hmm. So I have what is supposed to be the correct match, which looks a lot more like that and a lot less like this. And I'll also be able to use it to touch in these spots where the paint's chipped. Mm-hmm. So this will be the crowning moment for the car.
So since this car is 31 years old,
mm-hmm.
How much is it going to bother you if you put that on and then it still looks like a completely different color?
I'll have to live with it. Could it be worse than this purple that's supposed to be blue? I think not. I think not.
So did you get the cool racing stripes on it and just thought, I can't leave that paint on there?
It was more that it needed the touch-ups, and I couldn't handle the fact that these touch-ups were just so obvious. Mm-hmm. That I had to get a closer match than this purple. And plus we were out of purple paint. So what am I going to do? Got to touch it up with something. I don't have an inventory of blue paint. There we go. This guy's ready to go. I've scuffed the old paint with 800. So it's nice and smooth. So this should be a nice finish, probably better than the finish we already have on it. We're not going to paint this one in the bright sunlight either.
So you're going to roll it out here.
Roll it out, but keep it in the shade. That's still good in the shade?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little sun on the corner, but just depends on where you want it.
I think that's good. Yeah, I mean, another 2 minutes, the sun will be below the trees, so I think that's perfect.
Okay. So this is like probably the 10th time in 2 weeks that I've recorded you. And you still have on that Jeep t-shirt.
Well, it's one of my 4 different.
I'm going to have to go in there and move the shirts around. So you don't pick up the same just shirt every day. Kind of tired of seeing it.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the top first, and then the sides, and then the back.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
Because these cans, they don't last very long. This better match. Ready?
Yeah.
Ooh, Look at that.
Oh no, that's not a good sign.
No.
Is it pointed the right way?
It just squirted all over me.
I know.
You gotta love these expensive cans of paint for the quality that you get, right? And that was almost straight up and down. This is gonna be fun. All right, let's go. Enough talking.
Oh, it's a big drip.
Oh, yeah.
It's dripping like crazy, babe.
Yeah, I know it is.
Right there. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I can do.
Oh my
about it.
gosh, look at your hand in that.
Yeah.
Something's definitely wrong here. Something's wrong.
Ah, man.
It's like something's wrong with the nozzle. It's just.
Yeah, let's take
More
a
is
close look. Let
pouring
me
out.
squirt here and see where it's squirting from.
Oh,
Oh,
do you
it's
know what?
coming out
It's
the
coming
back.
backwards.
Yeah. Where's the other can? We'll use the nozzle from that.
Oh my gosh. Where did you get that at?
Amazon?
Scamazon.
You know where the other key here is?
I cannot. You know, we should crop that part of the video and put it on there as our review,
I don't know if this is going to work.
where it was coming out front and back.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to
Oh
work.
my gosh. Let
You
me get
really
over
don't.
here.
You're not supposed to take those off.
Well, could that one be clogged? Oh, that's much better. At
Much
least it's
better.
just coming out the front.
Yeah, it's
I
much better.
think.
Yeah, it's much better.
We were going to go to dinner too, but you kind of look like Smurf now.
It covers nice. Oh yeah, it covers nice.
Can you see a difference in the color though?
I do. It's not huge, but I do see a difference, yes. Whoops. Yes. This is the official color.
Yeah, but the other's faded for 41 years.
Yeah, that's true.
I can see it. It's definitely a different color, but it's going to be hard, I think, to cover up the blue all the way.
You know what's going to be hard is covering this white. Look at that. Where the paint chipped.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be tough. But this is going on good now.
Since you changed the
Good thing I didn't throw that
cap.
other can
Yeah,
away.
it's going good since you changed the cap to a used
Right.
cap. Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I'm with you. The color's not that different.
It is from here. And I could see where if we just let this sit in the sun for like a year, just that one part, it might match a little better, but
It's covering a lot nicer. I mean, I'm only halfway through the can. The other can I was almost empty at this point.
okay, so I'm going to let you get the rest of this on and then we'll come back and see what it looks like after.
Okay. It's all dry and it looks real good. A lot better match than the other color. Here is factory color, or the color it was, and there is the new color. So it's way closer than the other can. So I'm happy with this, for sure. Next up on the GEO is a little bit of back to black to get the bumpers to look a little better than they are. They're pretty faded out. This stuff is not going to be a miracle cure for sure, but it's going to look a lot better than it does now. To use it, you just put a little on your rag and just rub it in. So it's done. Let's recap quick what we've done. We fixed a lot of rattles. The bumpers and this thing. Obviously now it's got stripes. Some of you will hate that. Some of you will love it. The wheel's been painted. The lug nuts have been cleaned up, so now they're chrome. The trim that was all rusty here, this has been rust encapsulated and then painted black. The interior has been all cleaned up. It's got floor mats now. Everything is cleaned and vacuumed and nice. We've repainted this. This was a mess. That's been repainted. We repainted the hatch twice, but the second time, it's a much closer match. So I'm happy with that and how that came out. We put some black Restore on the bumpers. That came out nice. And we have touched up the areas where the paint was badly chipped. We've got an oil change done, air filter replaced. And let's not forget, of course, we have the high performance calipers. So this thing is ready to go. Well, it's been many days of working on this thing, and I'm wrapping it up. Got a few tiny things left, but I'm going to take it for a ride in its new condition, and I'm going to show you what we've accomplished. It won't win land speed records for sure. In fact, it's very, very slow, but it's dependable. It handles the road straight. It's got good brakes. I can't see the racing stripe from the driver's seat. That's too bad. It's holding the road perfectly. You know, the tires, as you saw, were all low. One of them had 11 pounds. And now that I've filled them all up, it doesn't pull to the left anymore. It had a small pull to the left, not anymore. And it's much more responsive on the road than it was. It's like driving a go-kart. Have you ever ridden a go-kart at those go-kart tracks? That's kind of what it's like. Just a little bit bigger. Right now I'm doing 55. It handles it no problem. I'm in 5th gear. This is going to be a really good little car. Whether I keep it or sell it, somebody's going to love it. So this has been a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed coming along for the ride. We're going to wrap it up and say this is done as far as videos go. It's time for its next chapter, and what that next chapter is, I don't know yet. Thank you so much for watching today. Your support is really appreciated by Christina and I. Your comments, your likes, your subscribes, the gifts you send, the letters, it makes the channel something that it never could be without you. We have some really good content coming up, including this. It's not often we have to rescue vehicles that are sitting in multiple pieces. This is one. We hope that you stay tuned to see more about it.
In his recent economic proposal to Congress, the president introduced a gasoline tax. Now, GEO introduces the loophole. GEO Metro XFI, the highest mileage car in America and the lowest priced. Now that's what we call fiscal responsibility.
Here in the Inland Northwest,